LJA, and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin Rants. Now, you might wonder why I'm in a hoodie for a video, and there's a very good reason for it, because of where I'm going to start this latest Straight Shootin rant, and where I'm going to begin. And the overarching tone will be, well, the overarching subject will be racism. Of course, racism is still around, and as long as there's ignorance and morons out there, racism will sadly never disappear. But I'm not going to bemoan that. What I'm going to talk about here is basically encouraging racism, which some entities seem to have done, whether purposefully or by accident. And as said, wearing a hoodie and a hood up for a reason. H&M is where I'm going to start. And you know what, yeah? There was a recent controversy involving H&M and a coolest monkey in the jungle hoodie being modelled by a young black child. Of course, there are clearly racist overtones within that, but it is one of them ones where I'm not going to focus on that and say that was out and out racist. I think it was extremely stupid and should have been thought through a lot more by the marketing department. Like, you know, when you see an advert and you think to yourself, yeah, that sounds a little sinister. It's like those Muller Lite adverts with Nicole Scherzinger talking about, oh, it's so thick and creamy. It's like, to me, that sounds sinister. It's like, alright, it sounds overly sexual, but that's just me. But the fact of the matter is, it's one of them ones, whether on purpose or whether by accident, H&M messed up. But at least they apologised. Doesn't make it alright, doesn't reverse what's been done, but at least there was a bit of contrition there. As opposed to people who are unapologetically racist, like Cornerstore Caroline and the Ryanair incident that happened recently. Now, I want to take my hoodie off for this, because at the end of the day, H&M, whether on purpose or whether by accident, yeah, the hoodie ended up coming across as racist. Whether it was intended or not, I don't know. I'm not the H&M advertising department or marketing department. But with this idiot Cornerstore Caroline in the United States accusing a 9-year-old boy, a 9-year-old black boy, of groping her, literally grabbing her ass, when the CCTV footage came out and showed that it was his bag that I think slightly grazed it. And it's like the incredulity of this moronic woman who was like, oh my god, he's touched my ass. I want to read you an excerpt from the interview from the 9-year-old boy, Jeremiah Harvey. And it's one of them was, I'll read you from this, from ABC News. The 9-year-old boy at the centre of a viral video dubbed Cornerstore Caroline said he's struggling to move forward ever since a woman falsely accused him of sexual assault on camera, pushing him into a national conversation about racial profiling and excessive 911 calls made against African Americans. In an exclusive interview with Good Morning America, Jeremiah Harvey, who is black, said he was traumatised and forced to look at race in a new way after a white woman claimed he groped her at a convenience store. It's still hard because lately on my mind, I can't think nothing but this. Jeremiah, sitting alongside his mother, said, I felt humiliated because of the way she acted. I started to tear up. Jeremiah's case gained national attention when a stranger, later identified as Teresa Klein, claimed he groped her at a Brooklyn convenience store not far from his home. I want the cops here right now, Klein yelled, according to the social media video of the incident. I was sexually assaulted by a child. Klein issued an apology a few days later when surveillance footage showed Jeremiah's backpack grazing her backside as he walked by with his hands in front of him. I called 911 because this woman was very aggressive, Klein told New York's ABC station WABC, referring to the boy's mother, who said she threatened her. Young man, I don't know your name, but I'm sorry. Klein says she received threatening phone calls in the wake of this incident. She also denied allegations that her 911 report had been motivated by race. Yeah, not motivated by race. Yeah, okay. So, Cornerstore Caroline, let's hit that first, because you calling the police on a 9-year-old boy. This is a nine-year-old black boy walking with his hands in front of him in a goddamn grocery store. It's like, oh, it's not motivated by it. Fuck off. I'm sorry, but it clearly is. It clearly is. Why are you calling the police on a 9-year-old boy minding his own business, and then the CCTV footage comes out, and all you can say, Miss Klein, is, oh, I don't know your name, but I apologize. It's like, really? You couldn't even find out the boy's name. You couldn't even find out Jeremiah Harvey's name. You piece of utter shit. I'm sorry, but people like that, this is why I said right at the top of this rant about racism is never going to go away when you've got idiots, morons, and the bigoted out there. Just never going to happen. But it's one of them ones where, even worse, it's one of them ones. Even worse than this is what happened on Ryanair. And I want to read something about this. The racist incident, this from the Independent. The racist incident on a Ryanair flight is what happens when black people are stereotyped as confrontational. That's why I had my hood up earlier as well. Stereotypes. Some people let them rule their lives. Some people base everything on stereotypes. And it's one of them ones, the ignorant and the bigoted will know nothing but stereotypes because they're ignorant and bigoted. But anyway, But basically, it was one of them ones. Footage of an elderly black woman being abused on a Ryanair flight went viral. In the video filmed by a fellow passenger, a white man can be heard shouting at a black woman, calling her an ugly black bastard. When the woman responds in a Jamaican accent, the man shouts, "Don't talk to me in a fucking foreign language, you stupid ugly cow." And he threatened to push her if she didn't leave her cell. See, bear in mind, this is an elderly woman who came to England, this country, during the Windrush generation. So she's an elderly woman. I just want to put that out. Instead of removing this man from their flight, Ryanair escorted the woman, the victim here, who we now know is Mrs. Gale, a 77-year-old member of the Windrush generation, to a new row. So they didn't move him. They didn't eject him. They ejected her. Just let that sink in. You've moved the victim and not the problem. Another person from a row behind in the footage actually steps in and said, "Hey, there's no need for that." And it was actually a white guy. It's like, there's no need for that. Like, can you please stop? There's no need. And the fact of the matter is, since the video went viral, a factor which must have complicated and possibly compounded the victim's trauma, she's apparently received no apology from Ryanair. Again, pieces of shit. How are you not going to apologise? It happened on your flight, Ryanair. And it's like, Mrs. Gale's family said to Huffington Post UK that they are surprised, disgusted and hurt by this lack of contrition. Now, you know what, yeah? And it's issues of race are always going to be touchy. Always going to be touchy. The coolest monkey in the jungle, that hoodie, you could put that down to, all right, someone didn't think that through properly. I think it is a little bit racist, but then you've got to put it in the context of, oh, little cheeky monkey. How many times have you called a baby a little cheeky monkey? Cheeky monkey. How many times have you done that? So there's a bit of context there. But Cornerstore Caroline, that whole gimmick, that whole bloody gimmick. It's one of them ones. Cornerstore Caroline. That person is a piece of shit. And that guy from Ryanair also is a piece of shit. Both of them. Because clearly what both of them did was racially motivated. Especially the Ryanair guy. Because it's one of them ones where it's like, come on, no. Why'd you have to call her an ugly cow? Why'd you have to call her a black bastard? With the little boy, Jeremiah Harvey in America. That's why I've deliberately picked these two examples. Because at the end of the day, as much as people wanted to say that, oh, as much of a shit show as Brexit was, oh, we're not as bad as America. No, we are every bit as bad, if not worse. Like, if America's fucked with the whole Trump thing, we're not that much further behind. And I think the Ryanair thing proves that and shows that in spades. Where it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, this whole thing is very, very concerning about the way the world is and the way the world's going as well. I said, some people are card-carrying pieces of shit. It's the Ryanair incident, the Cornerstore Caroline incident, clearly both racially motivated and just utterly disgraceful. Utterly disgraceful. But you know what? I am Straight Shootin LJA. Please let us know through the comments section below. Let me know your views. Facebook.com/Straight Shootin LJA. No G in the shooting. And at SSLJA on Twitter. It was one of them ones. Let me know your views. I said comment section below as well. I'd like to hear your views on the H&M hoodie controversy, the Cornerstore Caroline controversy, and also the Ryanair controversy as well. And Ryanair's lack of contrition, because that's concerning. Because that's one of them ones where it's like, Ryanair might as well just come out and say, oh, we're racist. If you ain't going to apologise to the family at the very least, then you're basically advocating bigotry. You're literally advocating it. But I've been Straight Shootin LJA. And on behalf of myself and stereotypes everywhere, I will see you next time. Thanks for your time.